I'm Bob Hickcox. I'm Director of Information Technology for the Girl Scouts of Minnesota and Wisconsin River Valleys. This past year we implemented a voice over IP phone system for our 5 buildings across Minnesota, and I wanted to share with other IT folks how to attack the voice over IP project. First of all, do your research. There's a wealth of information out there on the internet that is low cost or no cost that can get you what you need to make some intelligent choices. Voice over IP comes in 2 major flavors. You can either do it yourself in-house with the help of a phone company, or you can have a outsourced solution that's off-site. And both work. You have to choose based on your needs and the capability of the IT staff you can afford. But anybody nowadays can have a voice over IP system. Second point on doing your research is there's a lot of good places to get unbiased research. There are plenty of white papers out there that are sponsored by voice over IP companies. They're valuable, but you really want to have somebody who's not got a horse in the race, so to speak. And 2 places that I can refer you to that would really help are TechRepublic, which has both free information and pay for service information, and the other one that I really like for nonprofits, which is Infotech, www.infotech.com. They sell a nice service that gives small and medium-sized organizations the power of Gartner in terms of the kinds of research and the practical things available for about $1,000 a year. And you can even get a trial on that for 6 months at under $500. So it's one that I found really valuable. Once you do your research, then you need to prepare your infrastructure. You really need to look at what you've got in terms of network, in terms of lines between buildings, all sorts of capability, your wiring and cable infrastructure within your own building. You're going to need all of those things are going to have to be at a grade necessary for voice over IP. So when you're talking about cabling, you're talking about Cat5e or Cat6 cabling. If you're talking about switches, you need to have managed switches which are capable of power over Ethernet if you're going to have an in-house solution. If you're talking about links between buildings, you're going to need something like an MPLS network or at least private lines. MPLS network is probably the cheapest way to go, and you can get that on as a managed service, so you don't have to have a network wizard on staff. But those things are going to require some management, and you will need some knowledge to go with them. So look at what that's going to do and make sure you prepare your infrastructure ahead of your project, but with your project in mind. So understand the specifications you need to go for. And something like an Infotech and your local voice over IP providers can give you good specs on that. Another thing that you want to look at is get a good partner. You're going to need a couple of partners here, and the fewer number of partners you have, the better off you're going to be, because the more that partner is going to own the whole solution. Here at Girl Scouts, we have a partner that provides the phone system equipment and services itself, and we have another partner that provides the managed network services because of the reach in our territory, which is all of southern Minnesota, a little bit of Iowa, and a few counties in Wisconsin. We needed that kind of reach. If you're a not-for-profit that's more in the metro area, you can probably find a solution that couples both your network and your phone system from the same provider. There are a couple of good competitors out there who can do that, and that will make your job a little bit easier. One of the ways that you can find a good partner is by writing a solid RFP, and we can provide you an example of our request for proposal that we used. We don't have a lot of pride of ownership on that one because we borrowed it from other folks who are willing to share. A quick search of the internet will show you a number of government organizations that have put out decent RFPs that'll talk to all the aspects that you might need and really help you for not forgetting anything that would be important to you. Fourth thing is learn as much as you can. Talk to your friends who are IT folks in other organizations that have already done voice over IP. Understand what's there. There's a lot of nuances in this. You shouldn't be afraid of them, but just understand that you're going to have to work through those things. And the fifth one, and the one that people didn't necessarily say, but it's really important, is to persevere. Voice over IP systems have progressed quite a bit in the last 10 years. They've gone from being very experimental things to pretty much mainstream. That said, as we often say, there's a lot of moving parts involved. There's a lot of interconnections between the network, your switches, your routers, the voice over IP system, the kind of data you're putting over your network. And if you're going to do a combination data and voice network, you've got to get all those things in balance. You're going to probably have some rough spots in the first 6 months of operation. We did, just about everybody I know has. They all seem to be slightly different, but when you share with others what you're going through, keep poking at what's there and get it resolved, you're going to find that you're going to get a much better phone system on the other side. The capabilities of voice over IP are unbelievable in terms of what it provides the average social scientist type user that we all have in our organizations. It really makes their job a lot easier. So it's well worth the investment. You're going to get a lot of payback, not only in reduced costs, but in much better service to your customers.